All right, and we are back with News Gang on this day that the governor of Kiambu, Ferdinand Waititu Babayao, has been impeached. 63 MCAs voting to remove the governor from office. Obviously, it's still a very long process, Gashuri. When it goes to the Senate, what happens? When it's ending, are people going to vote in Kiambu? Just break it down a little
Certainly
bit.
not. There was just that concern whether tomorrow Kiambu people will be voting for a new governor. Not yet.
They look like they were eager to vote this afternoon.
Yes and no. Of course, Waititu still has his supporters, much like he has people who are against him. But the County Governments Act of 2012 outlines clearly the process that will be followed once the process is where it is currently. This notice of the decision by the County Assembly members now moves to the Senate. And Section 33 of the County Governments Act of 2012 tells us that the Speaker of the County Assembly is now expected to inform the Speaker of the Senate of the deliberations and the verdict of the County Assembly, that resolution. And the Governor will continue to perform his functions as Governor, although now he still has that issue in court. And within 7 days after receiving notice of resolution from the Speaker of the County Assembly, the Speaker of the Senate shall convene a meeting of the Senate to hear charges against the Governor. And the Senate, by a resolution, may appoint a special committee of 11 members to investigate the matter. And if it investigates the matter, it reports to the Senate within 10 days whether it finds the particulars of the allegations against the Governor to have been substantiated. So it's still a long process. And that committee can agree with the County Assembly of Kiambu. It can also differ with the County Assembly of Kiambu, but the plenary is undo msema kweli. The plenary can decide to adopt the report of the committee, reject it, or amend it. But that's not the end of the road. Even if the Senate says, Waititu, go home, he still can go to High Court, contest the process, the Court of Appeal, and Supreme Court. So it's a very long process.
But if eventually the whole process goes through, upheld all the way to the Supreme Court, if it gets there, and now he is removed from office, what happens? The Speaker of the County Assembly takes charge for... the deputy governor becomes governor. I think you were talking about Nairobi. I think you were talking about Nairobi. It's a problem of living in Kiambu and working in Nairobi. That's why we are suffering moment away.
But just sort of to say one thing about the impeachment process. And
this one, the other one.
Okay, it's a big night for Waititu, it must be said. I mean, he's in the company of President Donald Trump. Yes.
I wonder what Trump
but the question is whether the impeachment, the word impeachment and the process can carry the consequential meaning it carries elsewhere. Because the origins of impeachment it's such a grave process. It's a very consequential process. It started way back in the 14th century in England. Because this was where the process, it was a process where the House of Commons could actually take through a minister through a trial. It's actually a criminal trial process because ministers were appointees of the monarch. So the way to hold them accountable was through impeachment. And impeachment, the punishment for impeachment is removal from office. That meaning has been retained to date, and it's used even in the United States, and it's used sparingly. It's not a very common process. It's not commonplace the way it is right now here. We had it in Kericho, we've had it in Embu, not once but twice. We've had it, I think, now we have it in Kiambu. So will it continue carrying the meaning it was actually meant to carry out there, which is a very, very serious process of dealing with gross misconduct, violation of the Constitution, and correction
of
an anomaly. Right, So let's hope we don't belittle it as a country, because we have a way of doing these things, of cutting these things to our own size. No offense to Yvonne, I mean, would the governor of Vihiga call the governor of Florida a counterpart? I mean, size and...
Why did you pick Vihiga? Why didn't you pick Kiambu? He has no governor.
We are talking about impeachment.
Kiambu and Trump.
And we are actually, I think, about the only country in the world that has a Senate that is lower than the House of Representatives.
Absolutely. So impeachment has a Kenyan meaning.
Because in the US, you were saying about it not being taken lightly. I mean, if you take a look at the entire history of the United States, Trump has now just become only the 3rd president in history to be impeached.
And there have been only 62 impeachment inquiries since 1789.
Even it's actually, I think it's the 4th, because remember there was Clinton, there was Andrew Johnson, and there was Richard Nixon.
But Nixon resigned before.
And Joe spoke about the superiority of the Senate versus
National
Assembly. In the US now, as in the case of Trump,
is the
the Senate is the upper house. Now the Congress has impeached Trump because of course these people voted along party lines. It's a Democratic Party controlled Congress. Now the real battle is in the Senate. Now the Senate is controlled by the Republicans. So kwenda mbele huenda sasa pia chuma cha Trump hakiko motoni if people keep voting along I think party lines. And I think on that
and we will talk about that.
Along tribal
yes, that's what you wanted to say. And we will talk a little bit about that because you know, ladies and gentlemen, we are now doing a 2019 review, but we'll also be looking forward to 2020. So
could I mention something, Yvonne?
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Shall I cede? Oh yes, shall I cede my time to you?
No,
let me follow what's happening now.
Let
me see the minute.
There is the ruling in the Court of Appeal. I think we had promised to mention this, that is going to take a position, as it were, on the now famous Justice Mumbi Ngugi ruling that basically keeps governors out of office when they are going through the trial, like what we've seen now with graft cases against Sonko, against Waititu, against Lennon Kulal. And it was basically filed by Lennon Kulal challenging that very decision. So I think tomorrow will be definitive in that sense, because then it will have precedent that can be clutched on by people like Sonko and even Waititu.
Absolutely, and I think they will be watching that very carefully.